She emerges from darkness, turning to meet your gaze with an expression that's haunted viewers for over 350 years. Not quite a smile, not quite surprise, a look so intimate yet unknowable that it's become one of the most recognizable faces in art history. But here's what most people don't know. The pearl that made her famous isn't a pearl at all. And the identity of this mysterious girl has sparked more speculation than perhaps any portrait besides the Mona Lisa. I'm Oleg G. from Art Explained, simply and quickly, and today we're uncovering the secrets behind Vermeer's masterpiece, Girl with a Pearl Earring, a painting so deceptively simple that its true genius hides in plain sight. The first shock for many viewers who see this painting in person comes from its size and simplicity. At just 18 by 15 inches, it's far smaller than you might expect for a work of such cultural impact. There's no elaborate background, no rich interior setting like Vermeer's other works. Just a girl emerging from blackness, her gaze meeting yours in a moment that feels both fleeting and eternal. Painted around 1665 in the Dutch city of Delft, this work's journey to global fame is as remarkable as the painting itself. For nearly 2 centuries, it sat in relative obscurity, passed between collections without particular fanfare. When it was purchased at an auction in 1881 for the modern equivalent of just a few $1,000s, it was in terrible condition, darkened by years of neglect, its subtle colors hidden beneath layers of grime. The collector who rescued it, Arnoldus Andries Destombe, donated it to the Mauritshuis Museum in The Hague, where a careful restoration revealed the luminous masterpiece we know today. If you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd really appreciate a like. It helps YouTube show my content to more art lovers like you. I put a lot of time and care into these tutorials, and your support makes a big difference. Thanks so much. But who is this girl? Despite what millions believe, she's not a portrait in the traditional sense. Vermeer called this a tronie, a Dutch genre showing an imaginary figure or character type rather than a specific individual. Yet the immediacy of her gaze creates such a powerful sense of presence that viewers have been desperate to identify her for centuries. Some have suggested she's Vermeer's eldest daughter, Maria, who would have been about 12 when the painting was created. Others propose she's his patron's daughter. The most romantic theory, popularized by Tracy Chevalier's novel and the subsequent film, imagines her as a servant girl who becomes entangled with the artist. The truth is, we will likely never know for certain, and this mystery forms part of the painting's enduring power. Let's look closely at what we're actually seeing. A young woman turns over her shoulder toward us, her lips slightly parted as if about to speak. She wears an exotic blue and yellow turban, a style that would have appeared foreign and mysterious to Vermeer's 17th century Dutch audience. Her plain dark garment contrasts dramatically with the luminous quality of her skin. And hanging from her ear is that famous pearl, large, luminous, and completely impossible. I say impossible because what Vermeer painted isn't actually a real pearl as we know them. Real pearls don't reflect light this way. They glow with a softer, more diffuse luminosity. What we're seeing is Vermeer's brilliant artistic interpretation of a pearl. A single drop of white paint with a tiny dot of reflected light that creates a more powerful impression of pearlness than any literal rendering could achieve. This speaks to Vermeer's true genius. With just a few masterful brushstrokes, he creates an illusion more convincing than reality itself. Art historians have suggested that the earring might actually be polished tin or silver, materials that would create precisely the reflective quality Vermeer captured. But the symbolic power of the pearl, representing purity, rarity, and preciousness, makes the traditional identification irresistible. The painting's composition reveals Vermeer's extraordinary understanding of human perception. The girl is positioned at what artists call the golden ratio point, a mathematical proportion that appears throughout nature and creates a sense of natural harmony. Her face is lit from the left, following the Western reading direction, guiding our eye naturally across her features. The pearl is placed at precisely the point where our eye naturally falls after taking in her gaze. The technical achievements here are remarkable, especially considering Vermeer had no formal training that we know of. Look at how he renders the moistness of her lips, not with crude highlighting, but with a subtle understanding of how light behaves on wet surfaces. Notice the tiny highlight on the tip of her nose and the subtle reflection under her bottom lip. These minute observations of how light interacts with skin create an uncanny sense of presence. The turban itself is a masterclass in color theory. The deep ultramarine blue was made from ground lapis lazuli, a semi-precious stone imported from Afghanistan that was more expensive than gold at the time. The yellow is lead tin yellow, a pigment that has no modern equivalent. Together, they create a complementary color pairing that vibrates with energy against the dark background. But perhaps Vermeer's greatest technical achievement is one most viewers never consciously notice: his masterful use of lost and found edges. Look at how the outline of her shoulder on the right side melts into the dark background, while her face is crisply defined. This selective focus, controlling exactly where our eye perceives distinct boundaries, creates a dreamlike quality that enhances the painting's mysterious atmosphere. What makes this image so psychologically powerful? Unlike formal portraits of the era, which often showed their subjects in rigid, socially appropriate poses, this girl seems caught in a private moment. Her body is turning away while her face turns toward us, creating a tension that suggests we've interrupted her, capturing her attention mid-motion. Her slightly parted lips suggest she's about to speak, or has just drawn breath in surprise. This suspended moment creates a sense of time frozen just at the threshold of revelation. The painting's darkness deserves special attention. Approximately 2/3 of the canvas is given over to near nothingness, a dark void from which the girl emerges. This dramatic contrast, known as tenebrism, wasn't merely stylistic choice. It focused production costs on the figure itself, allowing Vermeer to reserve his expensive pigments for the areas that mattered most. It also creates an extraordinary psychological effect, isolating the girl in a timeless, placeless space that contributes to her enigmatic quality. Historical context adds another dimension to our understanding. The Dutch Golden Age was a period of extraordinary prosperity, built largely on global trade. The exotic turban signals this international connection. It represents the wider world that Dutch merchants were exploring and exploiting. Vermeer transforms this symbol of commerce and colonialism into something intimate and mysterious, embodied in the gaze of a young woman who seems both familiar and foreign. The painting's journey through time reveals how cultural values shape our perception of art. For centuries, it was simply called "girl with a turban." The pearl that now defines it was considered a secondary detail. It was only in 1995 that the Mauritshuis officially renamed it "Girl with a Pearl Earring," acknowledging how modern viewers had shifted their focus to this glistening detail. This renaming coincided with the painting's rising celebrity status, cementing its identity in popular culture. The work's influence extends far beyond the art world. It has inspired novels, films, endless merchandise, fashion photo shoots, and countless homages. Like the Mona Lisa, it has transcended its status as an artwork to become a cultural icon. Yet, unlike Leonardo's masterpiece, which is often viewed from behind crowds of tourists, Vermeer's girl typically allows for more intimate viewing at the Mauritshuis, at least when she's not traveling to international exhibitions, drawing crowds wherever she goes. Recent scientific analysis has revealed fascinating details about Vermeer's process. X-ray fluorescence scanning shows that he initially painted the girl with a more elaborate collar, which he later painted over in favor of the simpler design we see today. This reveals his artistic judgment, recognizing that the stark simplicity would create a more powerful impression. It also shows that even a master like Vermeer worked through his compositions, making decisions and revisions as he painted. What continues to captivate us about this image? Perhaps it's the perfect balance of revelation and concealment. We feel we know this girl. Her gaze is so direct, so present, yet we know almost nothing about her. This tension between intimacy and mystery mirrors our own human connections. We never fully know another person. We catch glimpses, moments of connection, flashes of recognition across the void that separates us. Vermeer created fewer than 40 paintings in his lifetime and died in debt at age 43. He was largely forgotten for centuries before being rediscovered in the 1860s. Now, he's recognized as one of the greatest painters who ever lived. The Girl with a Pearl Earring stands as his most beloved work, an image so powerful in its simplicity that it continues to draw viewers into its gaze, creating a connection that transcends the centuries. If you're fascinated by art that creates profound human connection across time, hit that subscribe button right now and join our community of art explorers. Every week on Art Explained Simply and Quickly, we uncover the stories behind history's most powerful artworks. What aspect of the Girl with a Pearl Earring speaks to you most strongly? Is it the technical brilliance, the mysterious gaze, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might help others see new dimensions in this timeless masterpiece. If this video helped you appreciate the subtle genius behind Vermeer's most famous work, give it a thumbs up. It helps more people discover these incredible stories of art history. See you in the next exploration.